And now the latest around the wide world of tropics. Tropical Weather Bulletin for June the 4th. Day 155 of the year, June 4th, 2021. Blanca is dying. Choi-wan has weakened, however is still clinging on to tropical storm status. Kicking things off in the Atlantic on day 4 of hurricane season, we are looking at a fairly quiet basin with no areas of interest expected to develop within the next 5 days. Over in the Eastern Pacific, Tropical Depression Blanca is still lingering around, however it is on a terminal weakening trend and is not expected to reform. We also are looking at an area of interest that has a 20% chance of formation within 5 days. Over in the Western Pacific, Choi-wan is still active as a tropical storm, however it is still clinging on to tropical storm status as it heads for Taiwan. And we are also looking at a near 0% AOI west of the Philippines, which is not expected to develop, hence the very low chance of formation. Over in the North Indian Ocean, it is also fairly quiet in this part of the world, with no areas of interest expected to develop in the near future. Jumping back into the North Atlantic with the satellite imagery, it's basically not a lot of activity to report as the Atlantic goes dark, and hopefully this period of quiet will last for quite some time. Back in the Eastern Pacific, we can see a dying Blanca. Blanca really is struggling to survive right there, and there is the 20% area of interest just to the southeast of Blanca. Back into the West Pacific now, Choi-wan is still maintaining tropical storm intensity as it tracks towards Taiwan, and the near 0% AOI should dissipate fairly soon if it hasn't done so already. Back into the North Indian Ocean, it is also fairly quiet here with nothing going on as far as this imagery shows. Jumping into sea surface temperatures, the West Pacific is still very warm. The North Indian is recovering after Dante and Yas moved through either side of India. The Atlantic is also warming up. However, I should note here that the South China Sea and the Bay of Bengal are both registering temperatures of above 30 degrees Celsius. Sea surface temperature anomalies, the Eastern Pacific is still fairly cooler than average. The Atlantic is more or less above average, however you could draw a line from Virginia to the United Kingdom of cooler than average temperatures. The Western Pacific is also warmer than average. Bay of Bengal and the South China Sea are also above average with those 30 plus degree Celsius temperatures. On this day, on June 4th, 2007, Cyclone Gonu became the strongest tropical cyclone on record in the Arabian Sea, closely followed by Cyclone Kiar a fair few years later. It is also worth mentioning that Barry was a remnant low in the Atlantic on this day as well. Alright, the next name in the Atlantic list is Bill, followed by Claudette. Over in the Eastern Pacific, it is Carlos, followed by Dolores. Over in the Central Pacific, on list 1, we are still waiting for Hone. Over in the Western Pacific, which is currently on list 4, we are waiting for Koguma, followed by Champi. And in the North Indian, we are waiting on Gulab, followed by Shaheen. Over in the Australian region, the next name on the list is Paddy, then followed by Ruby. Over in the Southwest Indian, if it forms before the end of this month, the next name will be Kanga. And lastly, over in the Fiji region, the next name is Cody, followed by Dovey.